I helped my client Alicia save her marriage with her husband when he had already filed for divorce. The papers were drawn up, they told the kids, they got their lawyers, the families knew everything. But within just 3 weeks of working with me, her husband completely changed his mind. How? Not by asking for less in her relationship, but by completely transforming how she was asking for the things that she needed. In this video, I'm going to reveal why most women aren't actually asking for too much in their relationships, but why the way they're asking is sabotaging the very connection they're trying to create. I'll walk you through the exact communication shift that's helped so many of my clients transform their relationships, and I'll show you how to implement it starting today. My name is Danielle Grace. I am the relationship translator, and I'm the founder of Graceful Mastery. Before I share this game-changing approach that's saving relationships, let me quickly tell you why you should be listening. I've been helping women transform their relationships for over 5 years using a proven framework that addresses the root causes of communication breakdowns. We're talking about band-aids here. We're talking about let's get to the bottom of it so that we can get rid of it forever. My background includes a master's in education, certification in life coaching, and most importantly, lived experience. I've been exactly where you are. I made every communication mistake possible in my own relationships. I've learned these lessons the hard way, and now I help women avoid the painful path that I took. Alicia, one of my clients, went from divorce papers to her husband surprising her on a Las Vegas anniversary trip. Okay, less than 30 days is when this happened. The transformation was remarkable. They had already told their kids about the divorce. Like I said, both the families knew and the papers were drawn. But through the exact communication framework that I'm about to share with you, she was able to completely shift the dynamic. In this video, I'll walk you through the exact communication framework that creates these transformations, the most common mistakes I see women making, and the simple shifts that can change everything, even if your partner isn't trying right now. So here's what we've been told. If you're unhappy in your relationship, speak up. Tell them what you need. Set boundaries. And this advice isn't wrong, all right? But it's dangerously incomplete. What nobody teaches us is that what you ask for matters far less than how you ask it. The truth is, most relationship advice today sets women up for failure because it ignores a fundamental reality. Men and women often communicate in completely different languages. I've worked with so many smart, successful women who were absolutely crushed when they did everything right. They clearly stated their needs. They used the I statements. They set boundaries. But instead of bringing them closer to their partner, these conversations actually created more distance. But why? Why is that happening? You have probably discovered this yourself. You have probably been on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, just like now. And you're like, why isn't this stuff working? Because most communication strategies focus on the words you say while completely ignoring the energy behind those words. I'm going to show you exactly why that energy matters more than anything. So let me ask you, have you ever found yourself thinking any of these thoughts? Okay. Why do I have to tell him what I need? Shouldn't he just know? I've told him 100 times what would make me happy, but nothing changes. When I bring up issues, he just gets defensive or shuts down. I feel like I'm always the one trying to fix our relationship. One of these has to hit. You know it does. And if you're nodding your head right now, you're not alone. And contrary to what you may have been told, this doesn't mean you're asking for too much. It likely means you're asking in a way that triggers disconnection rather than inviting connection. So let's take a look at the communication trap that's absolutely killing your connection, okay? The biggest mistake I see smart, capable women make is what I call problem solver mode. This happens when you approach a relationship conversation the same way you'd approach a work project or a business negotiation. Here's what the problem solver mode looks like. You come prepared with examples and evidence. You use logical arguments to prove your point. You focus on efficiency and solutions. Your tone becomes more formal and less emotional. You consciously shift into a slightly authoritative energy. While this approach works brilliantly in the professional world, okay, totally valid, it creates immediate disconnection in relationships. Why? Because intimate relationships operate on emotional connection, not logical persuasion. So let me share a real example from Alicia, okay? So before working with me, she was at a breaking point where her divorce papers had been drawn, and one of the major issues in her relationship was that she felt like her husband wasn't prioritizing family time. She would repeatedly sit him down for serious conversations where she would explain all of it, okay, logically, why family time was important, provided examples, all this good stuff, okay, scheduling and things, and even tried to create a shared family calendar to fix the problem. Her approach, completely reasonable, mature, and also wildly ineffective. Her husband would agree in the moment, but felt constantly criticized, leading him to emotionally withdraw more and more and spend more time away from home. The more she pushed the solution-focused approach, the further apart they grew. What's fascinating is that Alicia wasn't asking for too much, okay? Wanting quality time, wanting family time, completely reasonable desire, not too much. But her problem solver approach to the conversation triggered her husband's defensiveness rather than his desire to connect. So after years of working with women in similar situations, I've developed what I call the Graceful Request Framework. And it's completely transformed how these women are expressing their needs so that they can actually be received by their men. And this framework has 3 essential components. First, vulnerability before request. Instead of starting with your need, start by sharing the emotional context behind your need. For example, instead of, we need to have more date nights, you say, I've been missing feeling close to you lately. Some of my favorite memories are from when we used to try new restaurants together. There's a desire first. When you express the emotional context, the desire before the need or the want, he's going to be more likely to listen. Vulnerability creates an emotional bridge that makes your partner want to step toward you rather than away. Number 2, curiosity instead of conclusions. Instead of assuming you know why your partner isn't meeting your needs, approach with actual curiosity. When you shift from, you never plan dates anymore, to, I'm curious, what's your ideal way of spending quality time together? That's so much easier to swallow than you never plan dates anymore, right? This shift does something absolutely magical. It moves the conversation from confrontation to collaboration. And the third piece here is the invitation rather than expectation. Instead of presenting your need as an obligation frame, you use it as an invitation. So not an obligation, it's an invitation to create something positive together. When you begin using language like, I'd love to explore new places with you again. Would you be open to taking turns planning something special? The key difference here is that the approach taps into intrinsic motivation rather than extrinsic pressure. When my clients implement these shifts, something remarkable happens, okay? Especially with Alicia. After years of conflict, I'm talking years, like they're heading on like 15 years, okay? After years of conflict with divorce papers already on the table, her husband, after she shifted, he began to respond to her differently. She started using vulnerability before making requests. She approached conversations with curiosity and framed her needs as invitations rather than demands or commands. Within just 3 weeks, the transformation was so profound that her husband not only reconnected with her emotionally, but the Las Vegas anniversary that they had planned, which I'm not going to lie to you, her sister took her husband's place to begin with. Like, they called it off. She was going to go without him. And after they reconciled, he was like, nope, you go with your sister, you go with your sister. And so she went. My client Alicia went with her sister to Las Vegas. And what happens? But she's walking through one of the hotel lobbies and somebody says, hey, you. She turns around and her husband is right there waiting for her. He booked his own hotel. They got to spend their anniversary together in Vegas like they planned, because they became so much more emotionally connected after she started shifting the way she was showing up. Okay? She felt seen. He felt heard. And this illustrates the fundamental truth that most relationship advice misses. Men are generally motivated by feeling respected and desired, not by logical arguments or obligations. When you shift from problem solver mode to the Graceful Request Framework, you're not changing what you're asking for. You're changing the emotional experience of the conversation. You're creating an environment where your partner wants to meet your needs rather than feels obligated to. The beautiful irony is that when you stop trying to win the conversation, you actually get more of what you truly want. So let's talk about how to apply this framework to your specific situation. Take a moment and think about a need you've been trying to communicate with your partner without success. Now, rather than focusing on the need itself, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What's the vulnerable truth behind this need? What feeling or desire is driving it? Number 2. What might I be assuming about my partner's perspective that I could get curious about instead? And number 3, how could I frame this need as an invitation to create something positive together? Let me give you a few examples of how this transformation looks in practice, okay? So first we have problem-solving mode. You're always on your phone during dinner. We need to have a no-phone rule. Problem-solving mode. What does a graceful request look like? I've been missing those deep conversations we used to have. I notice I feel more connected to you when we're fully present with each other. What do you think about creating some phone-free time together? The next one, problem solver mode. You never compliment me anymore. I need more verbal affirmation. Graceful request. I was reflecting on how alive I feel when you notice things about me. Those moments mean so much to me. I'm curious, what's your favorite way to express and receive appreciation? Next one, problem solver mode. We haven't had sex in weeks. Physical intimacy needs to be a priority. Graceful request. I've been craving that special closeness we create together. I love feeling desired by you. What kind of connection would feel good for you right now? So do you see the pattern that's happening here? The graceful approach invites connection rather than demands compliance. And surprisingly, it actually leads to more of your needs being met, not fewer. You are not shutting down. You are not a doormat. You are not just keeping your silence to yourself. You're actually going to get more of what you want when you rephrase how, okay? Now, I can already hear some of your objections. But Danielle, why should I have to do all this emotional work just to get my basic needs met? Fair, okay? But the truth is, you don't have to do anything. Plain and simple, you don't. But if you want different results, you need a different approach. This isn't about manipulating your partner. It's about creating an environment where both of you can thrive. Or maybe you're like, what if I've tried being vulnerable and he doesn't respond? This framework is not a magic pill. It's a starting point. It's a springboard. If you've genuinely tried this approach consistently, not just one-off, for several weeks without any shift, there may be deeper issues at play. That's when working with someone like me becomes really valuable, because we can identify those deeper patterns that create these issues. We can get you a personalized strategy. Or maybe you're like, doesn't this approach mean I'm compromising what I really want? Actually, the opposite is true. When I work with clients, they typically find they get more of what they truly want with this approach, not less. Alicia wasn't just trying to avoid divorce. She genuinely wanted deeper connection, better communication, and more quality time with her husband. Through this approach, she got all of that and more. Because when you create connection first, there's a much stronger foundation for your requests to be received openly. So if you're ready to transform how you communicate in your relationship, I want to invite you to take the next step. I've created a free heart audit guide that helps you identify exactly where your communication patterns might be creating disconnection rather than connection. And this powerful tool has helped my clients create immediate shifts in their relationship. You can download it right now by clicking the link in the description below. It takes about 20 minutes to complete, and many women tell me their experience is incredible. The insights they have with just the first few questions are just, okay? And if you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And if you want more relationship transformation content, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. For those of you who are thinking, I need more personalized support with this kind of thing, I actually do work with a limited number of very committed women in my Graceful Mastery program. This comprehensive relationship transformation experience helps you completely rewire how you show up in your relationship, from communication to emotional regulation to creating deep, lasting connection. You can learn more about working directly with me by going to my Instagram page at @TheDanielleGrace and sending me the word HEAL. I'll get right to you with the information that you need to see what working with me looks like. So remember, you're not asking for too much. You're just learning a new way to ask. And that shift can change everything. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.